Back then, it's Julius Maada Bio at the state's opening of the third session of the 6th Parliament and of the Second Republic of Sierra Leone. We will look at agriculture, the economy, health, and electoral reforms, among other things. And similarly, so in the program this morning, Abdul Karim is the Director of Communications, Office of National Security, ONS, will be speaking on the recent drug destructions exercise, issues around security, license operations of private security companies in Sierra Leone, among other things. These are the issues that form part of our conversation today. But as always, we we encourage your feedback and inputs into our conversation via YV News Facebook page, but ensure that the questions, comments, and contributions are tailored as to the issues we discuss in the program. I am Samuel Ibrahim Kuruma, and now first off in our program this morning, we Sierra Leone. We'll have to look at we'll have to delve into the president's speech at the state's opening of the third session of the 6th Parliament of the Second Republic of Sierra Leone. We shall be discussing areas of agriculture, the economy, health, and electoral reforms, among other things. So in the studio this morning to help us understand yesterday's events at Parliament, we do have guests from both political divide, the SLPP and that of the main opposition, APC. So it gives me the pleasure to introduce Abdul Karim Kamara. Abdul Karim Kamara, beg your pardon. Abdul Karim Kamara is a member of the APC party. Abdul Karim, it's a pleasure having us always.
It's as usual. I'm happy being here.
And also Moses Mambu, who is the politics secretary for the ruling SLPP. It's a pleasure having you, Moses.
Thank you.
At some point in time, you said I've not congratulated you.
Thank you.
So congratulations. I think it's the first time since the elections.
Yeah, it's my first time. Yeah.
How does it feel like?
It's overwhelming, but it's joyful because the people's work continues. So for me, it's about making sure we position our party to continue staying in power above 2028. So my task is an Achilles one, and we are going to make sure we continue diffusing the lies and propagandas of my friend on the other side, to make sure Sierra Leone gets the factual, accurate, and credible stories from our party with regard to what we have done, what we are doing, and what we will continue to do after 2028 to make sure we cement the development of this country. Our goal is to take Sierra Leone in the next 15 to 20 years to at least the middle income economy and an industrialized country where industry, Sierra Leone will be a production country rather than importing, as we have already started seeing. So for me, it's about the people.
Okay. So with that being said, Moses, we'll find time to discuss it. But nonetheless, with that being said, yesterday was quite a moment in Parliament. The president delivered a 75-page speech. It's opposed to what we saw in 2024, wherein his speech was around 45 pages. Moses, paint us a picture as to what you think were the key take-homes in yesterday's.
The key take-home from yesterday's speech in summary is that we have a leader in this country, a president and a leader of a political party who is a father, who hears the cries of the kids of the country, who have been working to inspire the young people by challenging young people with very complex positions of government, positions of trust in the economy. We saw a situation where the president appreciated the legislature, recognized the role of parliament in our economy. The president painted a picture of where we are on the Big Five, which is the parties, the SLPP parties, manifesto commitment, which is the Big Five, especially the key highlight, which is the feed salon. The president said the feed salon, for example, is more than a political statement. It is a story that we build, and today those stories are yielding fruit, and we are telling those stories of the impact that the feed salon have created. The president went into our international relations. We have expanded the past 2 years, opened 3 more embassies to expand Sierra Leone. He made 4 because a lot of people were saying, oh, the president travels a lot. So he painted the story, which is very important for Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone is 8.5 or more million people. And for us to not only participate in what is happening globally or be mere spectators in the global event, the president have been fighting for the past 6.5 years, which we have got now to position Sierra Leone not only as mere spectators as it used to happen for the past 10 years, but now as a global player in the world where we sit on the table, we debate and make decisions that affect every human being in the world. For example, 2 times now we've been chairing the UN Security Council, which is huge. We are also chairing the AU Peacebuilding Commission, which is huge. And most importantly, for the past 52 years ago, Sierra Leone is now chairing the ECOWAS Heads of State and Commission in a very complex moment where we have very complex situations to deal with. But the world is not surprised. Sierra Leoneans are not surprised because the leader we have today have dealt with complex situations in the past when he was in his 20s. He has made decisions, complex decisions, of which leaders have failed to make over the years that positively impacted the lives of our country. You saw in 1994, in 1996, what he did overturning after they made agreement that they're going to hand over power. He took back the power, organized elections, and gave back the power to civilian rule. When his colleagues around the world, around Africa, were holding on to power. So this is the right time ECOWAS came together to say, we know you've handled difficult and complex situations in the past. We're giving you the task, the chairmanship of ECOWAS, a small country like Sierra Leone. Lead us through. Bring back all those countries that have been leading by military men, coups, countries not wanting to organize democratic elections. Put them together. You are the only one that have the technical expertise to do it. So at this time, we are bestowed in the leadership of ECOWAS in you, so that you will be able to rally around those complex situations to bring back those countries to ECOWAS, and then rally around peace, security, movement, trade around the sub-region. The president went into national cohesion, where he said peace is very complex. Because peace is very complex and relative, it needs continuous watering for it to have its roots on the ground as a country. That is why the president have been reaching out to the other side. Through, for example, after the elections, the tripartite committee was formed, where all political parties came together. About 80 or so recommendations were put forward with support from our international partners, where today there's a secretariat for the tripartite committee working to make sure those 80 recommendations are implemented, mainly focusing on reforms of our electoral processes and systems. I'm coming.
Yes.
And part of those, few days ago, Resolution 4 have just been addressed by the president by paying back all the backlogs of all the APC members of parliament the president have done. So it shows. I'm coming.
And that is where I will halt here and usher in.
No, I just want to.
Where I will halt here and usher in Abdul Karim. Abdul Karim, Moses has said right.
And please, for correction, Kamara, please.
Abdul Karim Kamara.
Good.
Moses has said quite a lot. But yesterday in the Way of Parliament, we noticed members of Parliament from around the APC displayed something that seemed very much unusual in the Well of Parliament.
There was absolute decorum when the president was delivering his statement. Is it akin to the backlogs that have been paid to these MPs. Is that a recipe for saying?
Firstly, I think I should have given equally fair share as to exactly how the president painted the picture yesterday, question posed to my friend. Let me attempt to at least firstly answer that question. The picture painted by the president yesterday was very conspicuous, and to a very great extent, what was very clear to Sierra Leoneans was the demeanor of the First Lady. His body language was all over the place, that things are not cool. There is some amount of wrangling between the first family. It was evident, it was conspicuous, it was clear. And all what the president said, I would tag in my exact phrase, the new normal. To them, it seems new, but to us, it's the normal trajectory. It's just as usual as it had been. The president occupying the chairmanship of ECOWAS is not a novelty to Australia. Shaka Stephen had been once the chairperson of ECOWAS. So that's why I said it's the new normal. Again, the president communicating to us in a very, 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 to some extent, I want to be economical with this word, that's to a very great extent what the president said and what is on the ground is at complete variance. When I say it's at complete variance, what he said and the reality on ground is at variance. I will give you indicators in the president's speech, which was completely at variance to the reality on ground. I don't want to digress as my brother is doing. I just want to get myself limited to exactly the president's address to the third session of the Sixth Republic of Australia. And I want to make certain things very, very clear. That the issue of the president commenting on the fact that he has represented Sierra Leone and he's making tremendous strides to making sure that we continue to enjoy this peace. Yes, it is true, but this peace needs to be born from out of sincere focus. We have to be genuine to ourselves. The president spoke about, in paragraph 210, when he said Sierra Leone is open to investment and business opportunities. The contrast there is this. Go to paragraph 210 of the president's address in the Well of Parliament. How can you say a country of this nature is open to businesses, investor-friendly, when leading companies are winding up? Kwedo Holding is an example. How can you say you are business-friendly, whilst investment or companies who have been doing businesses in your country are wrapping up, are folding up, are winding up just because of political interference? Who is saying the truth to who? It's a facade. It's not when the president speaks and people clap. It's when the president speaks truth to what is exactly the reality on ground. Wherever I'm saying here, I am going to give you references to tell you that what the president said yesterday is completely disingenuous to the reality on ground. We acknowledge the fact that, yes, yesterday was quiet. Yes. We acknowledge the fact that, indeed, Resolution 4, to some extent, has been addressed. That's true. But it's not like he has done anything that is extraordinary. It is just their due. Give to Caesar what is due to Caesar. It's their labor. It's what they have been elected for. So to us, in fact, it is deliberate and it is late in the day. But however, it is better late than never. It's here. But there's nothing to celebrate about. Go to paragraph 192. President commented about the audit service, that he's not having an efficient audit service. An audit service that is doing what is expected of it. What will you expect from the president? Whereas when you have a non-conformist, somebody who does not allow to bend, somebody who accepts that the office of the president and the first lady must be audited and be accounted for, that person was unlawfully and unceremonially thrown out of his office. Lara Tilopias and his deputy, Tamba Mumo. He has just fixed in people that can dance to his tune and who has secured and succeeded in making sure that the office of the First Lady and the presidency is a sacred office that cannot be audited. What do you expect from the president? Is to presume them. So we are saying what the president did to us yesterday is in no way, as he rightly concluded, that we must serve this country with sincerity, integrity of purpose, and for the fear of Allah. To me, I would say succinctly that what the president said and what is the truth on the ground is far-fetched. Let me give you another one when I said, just a quick one. When I said what the president said yesterday was just the new normal. Go to paragraph 40. Paragraph 40 in the president's explanation, he said that the office of the president and the government of Sierra Leone are now paying examination fees. What I said is the new normal is this, to be honest with ourselves. Who among Sierra Leoneans today will say that payment of examination fees is new to Sierra Leoneans? It has been back in the days of the former president, Anes Bai Koroma, that he says, I cannot provide free tuition across the board, but what I will do is to make sure that examination fees at NPSE, Beke, and WAS are going to be fully covered by the government. Is this new? That is also the reason why I said
Abdul Karim.
All he said yesterday was just the new normal.
Abdul Karim, were you expecting the president to have touched on the aspect of political prisoners, more so when, as we speak, Bai Koroma is still in Nigeria? I don't know if he's one of those political prisoners or he's in exile. He was convicted by the judiciary of Sierra Leone. He's facing trial as we speak, but he's in Nigeria. Where are you expecting the president to have touched?
Firstly, let me make certain things very clear from just what you just said. He is not convicted. There's a difference between somebody standing trial and somebody being convicted.
He's standing trial.
Very correct. And again, he is not in exile. As per what is clear to us and which is in blueprint, is that the president left the shores of Sierra Leone on medical treatment. And as it is now, he is still on it. When he's satisfied, when his doctors or his people who are monitoring his health are to some extent very satisfied that he's safe, he's strong, he's healthy, he'll come back. One thing I will say very clearly, and this is state television or in public television, that he is innocent as a saint. I know the president.
That is left with the court.
I have worked with the president. I have been his boy for a very long time. Let me say this, please.
That is left with the court to prove.
Let me say this with all sincerity. He is very, very innocent, taking it from what it is. They said future events cast their shadow. Had the president wanted to continue his largesse to enjoy the sweetness or the goodies of power, he had the police, the military, and every security apparatus under his command. He wouldn't have successfully handed over power in a very democratic and transparent manner, rather to go again and come back behind the scenes and do what he has been alleged to have committed.
I will soon usher in Moses Mambu, even though yes, you yet to answer that question. That were you expecting the president to have made a statement with regards political prisoners?
Yes, the reason is it's part of our resolutions. And the Attorney General and Minister of Justice has commented on the same. I was here on that particular interview. That indeed, we communicated that we had 4,100 people who are still political detainees, who have been detained unlawfully, just on their showcase of dissent, that what is happening is not correct, it's not fair, the August 10, and other civil protests that were very peaceful, that were far from rancor or confusion, but we are kept somewhere that onto this point, when the Office of the Attorney General commented, he said he only had 13 people who are incarcerated. And that has been the disparity. So for the president to have commented on that, we have equally given it a fresh air. That indeed the president is abreast to what is happening or what is going on, rather than for the president to come to telling us what is exactly not in reality.
Okay, so I don't want to comment, I'm not here to comment on what my colleague is saying from the APC, because Sierra Leoneans know the APC, that they have one vision. The only vision they have is to continue spewing lies in the hearts and minds of Sierra Leoneans in a quest to gain political power, which is not going to happen. I will just comment on one thing he said and then move on to lay a platform, a plateau here of what His Excellency, the leader of the greatest political party ever existed in Sierra Leone, what he succeeded in doing yesterday. I will just comment on the La Telopia's situation that he lamented. A tribunal was set up. She went through all those tribunals with her deputy. At the end of the day, the matter was transferred to Parliament for a 2/3 vote. And Parliament unanimously, including 8 APC MPs,
7.
8, I can tell you, it was 8 APC MPs.
7.
It's 8, I can tell you it's 8. 8 APC MPs voted, 8 APC MPs. Let the public hear this. Because if what the government did was wrong, APC MPs couldn't have joined the government, the parties in power MPs to vote to remove the Auditor General. 8 APC MPs joined our MPs to vote to remove officially, according to our constitution, officially remove the Auditor General from office. So the public will judge who among the SLPP and the APC is stating the fact with regards when you misbehave in position of responsibility that the state gave you, political parties can come together to remove you according to our constitution, and that happened. So I just want to move from that. When he said it's the new normal, let me tell Sierra Leonean what is not normal, what is not new. What is not new in Sierra Leone as we know it is for prices to shoot up and then come back down. That is not new in Sierra Leone. I have never in my living memory saw prices go up in Sierra Leone and those prices come down. I have never in my existence as a Sierra Leonean saw a market setting price for itself without the players in the market. We saw that happening in the oil sector. Prices of petroleum started falling down. The pump price per liter, we saw it firsthand a few weeks ago, started falling down, way below the government set price itself. It tells you that is not normal. Today, 30% of the rice WFP is procuring to feed the schools, support schools on school feeding, and also support displaced people around this country. 30% of those rice are now being procured locally. That is not a new normal. That is unprecedented for our country. It shows a data-driven progress for this government, this political party in power, and it is a coalition of bandwagon of what His Excellency have been able to put together when he said Sierra Leoneans need to feed itself, and we are taking frantic efforts for Sierra Leone to feed itself. Now listen to this. Just in 2024, last year, our production, rice production in Sierra Leone for the first time increased by 8%, which led to 13% decrease of importation of rice. That is not normal. Where is that normal? So when the APC is saying the statement is new normal, that statement is not new normal. Now in just the first 3 quarters, the fishery sector made $5.5 million as a revenue, far exceeding the target that government already set for them. Is that normal? That is not normal. These are tangible evidences to show the economic policies under the Big Five agenda that this political party, the SLPP, under its leadership, Brigadier General, retired Julius Madabio, have put forward. So that is not normal. When the president took over, it was 250,000 kids that were accessing education, that were accessing primary education. That was not normal. When the president removed the barriers which is the school fees, 2.9 million kids started accessing education instant. Is that normal? That is not normal. So let me tell you. No, let me land on this point. What Sierra Leoneans want to see is, few months ago, rice was 1.3 million per bag. Now, today, when you go to the market, rice is 600, 700. Some bags of rice, depending on the quality, is 500,000 per bag. That is tangible evidence. That is not normal. That is not normal.
Essentially, the president painted in the education sector that you spoke about, painted a picture of radical inclusion.
Of course.
But again, we've seen a situation wherein girls and boys who want to take the WAS exams. seem to have been disenfranchised as a result of certain procedures that were set by the system. What's the problem?
No, it's not. It was not set up by the system.
It was set up by
No, it was not set up by the system. Listen,
Yes.
the Education Act is very clear. The procedure schools are supposed to follow when filing in candidates for public exams. Mind you, public exam is not entirely controlled by the government of Sierra Leone. There's a West African body that have rules and regulation, and there's an act that they are also following. So if your school failed to send in candidates within the speculated time, definitely it's going to be a problem. Because mind you, the WAEC, I'm coming.
But why set up a system where even the school authorities are not at par with the system?
No, they are. Sometimes.
At par.
No.
It's really difficult to even match up
No,
the technologies that have been set in place.
Yes, no, I'm coming.
So they were not at par.
I'm coming. Every school have administration. You have the PTA, you have the principal, and you have the council of teachers. They have sacred responsibilities to make sure they meet deadlines. One of the problems that have been affecting some schools is the ability to meet deadlines when it comes to application for student names to be sent to WAEC. The other situation is because of the distance of some schools and meeting with some of the technology demands, the government of Sierra Leone through the Ministry of Basic and Senior Education have been helping some of those schools, but the issue have been compliance from the school itself. So that has nothing to do with government. It has something to do with compliance. Mind you, as I said, the WAEC is a West African, WAEC is a West African examination institution that have its own rules. Sierra Leone is a party to it, and we abide by the rules, but we are not the only country participating in public exam. That does not change the fact that under this government, through this political party, the SLPP, the increase of girls accessing education today is unprecedented. The increase of boys and girls competing in public exam and passing public exams today cannot be compared to any other time in our history in Sierra Leone. The participation of girls in technology, the sciences, the medical field, way outshine what used to happen. So that is not normal. However, I can tell you, this is government. There is and must will always be challenges in certain sector, like the education, because it is complex, it is cumbersome, and you are dealing with millions of people. So there are always challenges when it comes to that. But what is not normal is the number of additional universities this government, under the leadership of President Bio, have created. The number of reforms, the number of classrooms that this governments have created. That is not normal. Look at the Mabroka Boys High School. Look at the Mabroka Boys High School in Tonkolili today. For 10 years, the Mabroka Boys High School was left unattended to. It was His Excellency, the President, who looked at the Mabroka Boys High School and said, this school, what is happening to this school is unacceptable. This is one of the prides of Sierra Leone. He included it in the Badia project for reforms, refurbishment, so that at the end of the day, when it comes to education, it should not be about Kailau and Bo. When it comes to education, this president and this leader.
What the Mabroka Boys School you mentioned is part of Sierra Leone, but nonetheless,
of course,
Abdul Karim,
Yes.
Mambu spoke on agriculture. Behind the president gave up statistics as to the reality on the ground, and those statistics,
And that's
Safe for Agriculture, were backed by one credible organization, that of
WFP.
in terms
Yes.
of what
I'll
it
address
was
that
doing.
one.
Yes.
But again, Abdul Karim, I want you also to speak to energy. Wherein the president did mention that
Yes. Quickly,
the
let me.
future will be green.
Yes,
Let me.
it's already getting greener in Bonkelenke.
Producing
The green energy, the solar energy, electric buses, they are coming.
I continue to say that what the president did yesterday was just the new normal. It's nothing new to Sierra Leoneans. It's just the normal trajectory we've been in. However, the president commented that indeed we are making significant strides in agriculture, the feed saloon project, the big five, number one. Go to paragraph 15. The president in his statement says that locally produced eggs are now cheaper. Show me where you can have locally produced eggs that are cheaper. This is completely far from the reality. I am not just talking because I feel like talking. When I talk, I bring you to tangibles to what the president said. Go to paragraph 17. The president talked about locally produced eggs. That now, in fact, it has cut down drastically about the importation of eggs. My brother, an egg is still costing 5 leones. We can still find it difficult to distinguish between the locally produced egg and the imported egg because they all carry the same price. However, with regards to the MSF issue my brother was talking about, go to paragraph 15, WFP. They said they have constructed and it is now functioning, it's operational, that Sierra Leone has 3 rice mills. My brother, you're a journalist, can you name me one? Where can we find one of these rice mills that is operational, where we can go now and access our locally produced rice? You see? This is exactly what I am saying. Enough is enough for us to come and put all these beautiful words in paper, which is far removed from the reality. I said, what the president said is just fanciful, it was well written in paper, on the paper, but it is far from the reality on the ground. Let me take you to what the president said, and it is very disheartening. Go to paragraph 108 in his address. I am referencing paragraphs. The president condemns drug traffickers, drug smugglers, or people who are engaged in drug dealings. How can this be nexus to the reality that the Attorney General and Minister of Justice communicated in this same studio that the Dutch government has served the government of Sierra Leone extradition papers? For who? A drug lord in this country. Do you think, who is fooling who here? You condemn what you think is not right, but your country is being pegged, it's being nicknamed as a narcotic state.
The investment.
Who is saying the truth to who?
The investment in the agricultural sector. Would you?
That is where I am coming.
Would you compare?
It's a facade.
Would you compare same as to what's used to obtain? Yesterday, the president.
It's a facade.
Yesterday, the president seemed to have deviated from.
My brother, since the inception of President Bill in 2018 with the Tomabom Rice Project until today, a single grain of rice has not been produced from that project.
Abdul Karim, the areas. Recent research shows that the areas that have been put under cultivation is something that seems very much impressive, more so in the agriculture.
So therefore, let the president continue to tell us that he's still trying to put the legal frameworks, the papers together, but now it's nothing produced yet. If he says that, we can understand that. He has exhausted 7 or almost 8 years now down the pipeline, and yet still a grain of rice has not been produced from any of these farms. If he says so, we can applaud him that he's been sincere to us for a minute.
But that's him far from the truth from what you're saying.
But that's what is happening.
Something seems to be happening.
That is what is happening, my brother. Let's go to the market now and let's see and ask our people. Let's do a vox popping and ask people, where are we getting this rice
Now let's talk energy access.
Energy. Let me take you to the energy aspect.
That seems to be massive progress.
Yes, let me take you to the energy aspect.
Say in the provincial areas.
My brother, that's exactly where I'm taking you to. Go to the energy aspect. So many monies have been said by the president. Let me take you to his exact statement. When he commented yesterday, when I was seated in the well of parliament and I listened to the president comment on energy, I asked myself, is President Bill really talking to Sierra Leoneans? Or is talking to another country? He's perceiving that they are Sierra Leoneans. Because don't forget, just a few weeks back, Sierra Leone regained its name under President Ahmad Tijan Kaba as the Freetown being named as the Kaba Tiger, the darkest city on planet Earth. To the extent that the King Power withdrew their supply of energy supply to the country because of indebtedness. Until again, when they had to sit down at a round table to arrange and get a new agreement for this current light we are enjoying. What is new? All he told us yesterday in the well of parliament that the 2 generators at King Tom are being renovated and now under rehabilitation or renovation so that they will start operation. He said again at Blackwell Road, the 2 power station generators there are under serious renovation or repairs, that they will start providing electricity for the East End. And everything he said is everything that is yet to come to reality. I repeat, I don't really understand whether the president was communicating to us as Sierra Leoneans. That is more so the reason why, if you understand the body language of the First Lady, she was with the president with her earphones in her ears. And her demeanor will tell you that what the president is saying and what is happening is completely at variance.
Moses.
You can see it from the demeanor of the First Lady. Okay. That what the president was doing and what he was communicating, in fact, he don't want to be part of it. She doesn't want to be part of it.
Moses.
Okay.
I am saying.
So 2 things.
I am saying lastly, that all what the president said yesterday is far removed from the reality on ground. Moses. And I'm pointing at everything.
So 2 things. There's a difference between propaganda and what is the truth.